Shortly. Please remain on the line. The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Well, good morning, welcome, or good afternoon, depending on which part of the country you're in. Welcome to today's live market update. I hope you're well. Hope you had a wonderful Christmas. It's great that you've invested some time to come and listen to what's going on. It is an interesting session that we're seeing already in Asia after what was most certainly a Santa Claus rally last week. But thank you for popping in, whether you're watching this live, go to webinar or YouTube, or catching up later on the YouTube recording. You're very, very welcome. Thank you for coming along. And to you, Don B, thank you very much. And good day to Hugh and Neil and Mark. Thank you very much for all being here. Let's get into the story of the day, shall we? And the week and whatever's coming next. Whoops. Need to do this important message. Just to remind you, this is for educational purposes only. Please make sure you do your own due diligence on anything you see here. Make sure you follow trading plan, of course, manage risk on every trading action. And let's get into the news, of course. So we saw the S&P 500 actually hit an intraday high, intraday record high on Friday before pulling back as that Santa Claus rally continues. It really is for this week. It's considered to be part of that. Be interesting to see if we hold on to some of the gains this week. Certainly the major indices, gold, copper, have all done very, very well. We'll check out charts in a moment, obviously. US futures are only just marginally positive in early Asian trading. They have pulled back a little bit. Asian markets are mixed, with the ASX around 0.2% to the downside so far, and European futures are indicating a cautious start. You've seen a little bit of profit taking, perhaps in terms of Friday's, just a continuation of Friday's last action, where we just saw that little pullback. So that's what I'm seeing in Asia so far. One of the reasons why things are perky is the US dollar index remains in a downwards trend channel. Consequently, gold's testing all-time highs. Copper's also shot up to a record high after last week's move. It's testing that again today. Oil, however, still looks technically bearish, may test support, but we'll see how that pans out over the next few days. Important to that is that the EIA crude oil inventories are released in the US tonight. Bitcoin's trading mid-range after that 36% drop and a double test of that level again. So buyers aren't in, but neither are sellers at the moment. Wonder if there's a little bit of accumulation going on. But we'll see what the next few days brings. Really a quiet day, not surprisingly, from a data point of view. The only two data points of note are US housing and that EIA data that I've already referenced. Fed minutes are out on Tuesday, and I'll be interested to see if there's any extra telegraphing in terms of when they may cut rates next. At this stage, it's not expected they'll cut in January. And we also have weekly jobs before we obviously shut on New Year's Day. Let's have a look at some charts and some extra info. Quickly, very quickly, just look at the futures. There we go. So we've got this fairly flat now, actually. It's actually pulled back a little more. You can see the European markets expected to open slightly to the upside. Buying coming into oil, not to gold, but copper is doing very well. FX markets are really flat, really, really flat today. It's going to be difficult to find a chart of note at this stage. You may see action pick up in once the European session opens, but it is, of course, still officially the holiday period, so we are expecting volumes to be fairly low. And with an absence of key data coming out today, I'm not actually sure that we're going to see a lot of movement in FX, but we'll check it out anyway. The euro is at the high of the session, which is noteworthy. Right, let's pop to CNBC, just so what the markets are doing overall. And as you can see there, we have, just a flattish day going on, really. Hang Seng is the only one that's up. It's not trading today. Yes, it is trading today. So really not a massive amount of new news, apart from really reflecting on where we are now. If we look at the data that's due out today, there's pending home sales. It's a big data point. We aren't expecting a slight drop off. Crude oil inventories are expecting a bigger drawdown than last week. As for tomorrow, we've got more housing data and the FOMC minutes, which is important. Got some manufacturing data coming out of China on Wednesday, along with those weekly jobs report. It's interesting. We've got delayed crude oil inventories from last week and then new ones on Wednesday. That's just a bit odd. We do have some data out on Friday. We see some more manufacturing PMI data coming out on Friday, primarily from the Eurozone. And the final manufacturing PMI coming out from the US. So the end of the week is pretty interesting. But at this stage, difficult to call. Let's just have a look at some charts. You can see here the US 500 daily. That's that intraday tested record high on the futures. The Nasdaq is lagging a little bit, but it's still. This is the key level on the Nasdaq. This 25,840 on the Nasdaq futures. Looks as though it's flattened off a little bit. So the buying's coming in despite tech being flat. We talked the US dollar index. Here we go. There's the US dollar index. It's still in this downwards trend channel, testing this 97.63. And these, of course, are 3-year lows that we tested back here in September. Consequently, of course, gold is looking perky. Here's gold action today. You can just see that profit taking pullback. This next couple of candles will be interesting. 4,470 is possibly the technical level to watch. But even 4,495, we are testing that psychological 4,500 level. If we look at the daily chart, that's what's happened. So whichever way you slice it, we talked about this potential liquidity zone here. We just smashed through that. And then continued upwards. Friday session was a good one, but that pales into insignificance when, of course, you look at copper, which did this. So copper booming and zooming to the upside. There's a real solid test of record highs. We closed almost on the button at 585. We are actually higher than that in today's trading, although a bit of an interesting candle going on. Very, very choppy in Asia today. This could have been profit taken. Now perhaps got the buyers coming in. We've got a really nice line in the sand. There's Friday's. If you look at the shorter time frame, there's the highest bar close. Intraday, we hit 588 on this hourly chart. I would be looking at the latter for a close over the latter on the hourly chart to suggest the buyers are still rampant. Watch when the LME opens this afternoon. I think that could be the key point. So copper is really the chart to keep an eye on. Oil is just looking dreadful again. Soft back end of the week last week, could come down and test these 2021 highs at that level around about $55. And Bitcoin, as I said, really sort of not going really very far at all. Right throughout Christmas, it's been flat tack, trading around this sort of 88,000 level. Very, very mid-range, about as mid-range as you can get. So not much in the way of enthusiasm. As I said, could be a little difficult to find a FX chart or two that looks interesting. A lot of them are going to look like this. Look at the US yen, you can just sort of see there that we've essentially got this trading within a range. At this stage, we did test the bottom end of the range. This range is around about 50 pips to the upside. We're sitting bang smack in the middle right now. There's the new fear and greed index panel. Just FYI. But anyway, let's just get rid of that for the moment. And you can see there is some interesting price action on the Aussie US. This is probably the one that was most noteworthy this morning. Let's just get rid of that. So I just need to clean a box or two off my screen. There we go. So this is a real threat to 67.18, and if you look at where this sits, it reached these key levels here that were sort of that was seen in mid-September and mid-December, respectively. So it burst through that last week to hit highs not seen since September 2024. If we do get a shift through this, I'm wondering whether the move might be up towards 68. So that is looking pretty interesting. You can see that on the chart there. Looks to be plenty of support. It's been supported by the 20 MA on this run up over the last 3 sessions. So Aussie US is really, let's be honest, is actually going to be really tough to beat. We will check in on the Aussie yen, which is also looking pretty strong. Again, we're at sort of highs not seen for a while. Possibly got these middle of last year highs to keep an eye on. Just going to shift this up there just so we can get context. That's a fair distance away. It's still a couple of 100 pips on the monthly chart. On the weekly chart, you can see there in more detail. It doesn't look to be much in the way of this on the weekly chart. So the Aussie dollar is the currency that is showing strength this morning. It's testing a key level at 1.5, very important psychological level. And so consequently, I would be sort of looking for a breach of Friday's high at this stage, which is 105.20 essentially. So both the Aussie US and the Aussie yen are looking interesting. Right. Okay. So let's have just a quick check-in on some stocks. I'm going to make the Aussie US my chart today. I just think we've already got a breach, multi-time frame breach, and on the hourly chart, we are actually testing those highs at 67. So yeah, I like that chart a lot. I think there's the multi-time frame high. That's really why it's high. If you want to wait until a breach of Friday's high, it is 67.23 to confirm that we're out of a range. Right, okay, let's just quickly, there's the new exit manager dashboard. And I just wanted to, there we go. So when we look at the ASX, we're using this scanner these days. As I said, we've got a relatively flat day, but there are a few outperformers. IEL, the one that we've been keeping an eye on, just a little pullback in this. You can see there, Bendigo Bank, really interesting double bottom going on here. I quite like this as a chart. Just put it on normal tuning. There we go. I couldn't get more textbook than that, could you really? First port of call, maybe get stuck around this 1087 level. But that is undoubtedly a chart of interest. Let's just, what have we done here? Star Entertainment Group, why is that not showing? Ah, because Star Entertainment Group, it's a really difficult one to call. This has been moving up back towards this key technical level of around about 15 cents. I'm not sure. If you want something just to invest a little bit of more money in, this could be an interesting one. But it's not really filling me full of enthusiasm. FMG, the iron ore stocks have looked great. Look as though they're coming off at this stage. Likewise with CIO, slightly more robust than FMG. This is range bound. Not surprising, Evolution Mining is doing very well on the back of gold moving higher. And if we look at Domino Pizza, may bounce off this 200 MA, it's worthwhile having a look. So there could be a potential bounce trade in between these two levels at 21.36 and $23. So those are what are catching my eye this morning. As I said, it's a reasonably flat day. Let's just have a quick look at S32. S32 is looking interesting. Some of the material stocks are actually looking interesting, though. They have come for highs. Liontown Resources looking very strong. Is that the potential to close this gap? This is a stock we've been talking about for some time, obviously. We had a breach of this, or move out of this, really quite a wide range. So 161 was breached last week, and with a continuation today, that looks quite strong. Difficult to possible move up to around about 190 might be the target, which is a significant move from current price. So we're going to keep an eye on that over the coming days. And one last one to have a quick look at was GrainCorp. It's still stuck in a range, but there may be a just pop it on there. We had this sort of gap down, and we look as though we're testing the upside of this short-term range. Could be a gap filling going on. Whether it'll make it all the way back up here is questionable, but certainly you would expect it to be possibly around this 740, 750. Not massively compelling. I'm going to make ATR my chart of the day on the ASX. Right, a quick rock around the BVS. I want to have a look at BVS. No, that's not much. Okay, so keep that on. Let's have a look at a couple of US stocks that I think are interesting. We've been talking airlines quite a lot, but the travel stocks were looking a bit shy during the course of last week. We got this Carnival, the cruise company, they pulled back. Airlines sort of caught in this range, but this level on Delta is really interesting at 71.25. Put on the weekly chart for context, you can see this is highs. I quite like this. This is probably the market just taking a breather. Don't forget that US earnings kick off in around 2 weeks' time, so middle of Jan, and Delta are one of the first ones to report. So that would be just a take care on that one. If we look at Nvidia, we are seeing these tech stocks move back up. Looks like a double bottom type of formation. It's still in choppy territory. 200 would be a level to keep an eye on, I think, that would sort of spark some interest there. Be really interested to know. A lot of semiconductors have seen a bit of a bounce. AMD has some more work to do. Level to look out for is 224, and I wanted MU just to see where that is, because that was one of the ones we were tracking last week. Yeah, all-time highs obviously on MU. Just a little pullback in extended hours today, but that new record high on Friday suggests that this is a company that continues to go higher. And finally, we'll look at REMX, our ETF that we've been tracking. That seems caught in a range. It may test the upside of that. 74 and 78 is the level to keep an eye on. Going to be a bit shy in terms of putting a US chart of the day up, but I think Delta's Delta's probably in the high risk category due to the proximity of earnings. Let's maybe just have a quick look at Southwest Airlines to finish this off. It's down today. No, that's looking very compelling compared to Delta. It is in a range. Maybe 42.30 is a level to keep an eye on. That would represent a high close on this. Really, if we've got to go all the way back to 2021 to sit at this level. So surprisingly, there's a bit of a pause. But yeah, a close above 42.28 would be noteworthy. Let's call that a day. Right, just to fill you in on a couple of things that are happening. Yes, there is a session for you, GAQEA, tonight. But more importantly, from a goal point of view, we're doing our annual, I'm going to make next year best training year ever session. I've altered it around and about a bit, just put some more things in the mix that really I've been exploring for a number of sessions during the course of the week. If you're not part of that session, I'm just putting the link into the chat box now. So I'm guessing probably most of you on here are part of that anyway. I will put it. For some reason you can't register, just pop me an email. Link via email as well. Don't overcook it over the next few days, but really, the two things. First of all, thank you very much for popping in today. It's very appreciated. If we can see you tomorrow evening, that'd be great. Most importantly, of course, if you're still on holiday, enjoying it all, then be on holiday. In the meantime, take care of yourselves. I'll love and leave you. There won't be a session on Wednesday, but there will obviously be on Monday. For those of you able to come in tomorrow night, because obviously we put the inner circle back from New Year's Eve to Tuesday. I look forward to seeing you there. Either way, take care of yourselves. Bye-bye for now.